Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to a lovely, chilly Tuesday morning here with me on stream. Today, we're going to be having some fun around TakeShape, which is a content platform for the Jamstack. In the past, they have been a sponsor of the podcast that I run, but I'm also working on an article for them right now that is going to be using their static site generator and their CMS to hook into Snipcart, which is an e-commerce platform. And so I need to do some research. I've used both those platforms before, but I need to figure out how they play together. I've never used TakeShape static site generator. I've only ever used the CMS and plugged it into Eleventy, which is what I typically use for my personal projects. But I'm very curious. They've got a JavaScript-based static site generator. It uses Nunjux, which is my favorite templating engine. So I'm going to be playing with that, figuring it out so that I can write this blog post more effectively. And then I've used Snipcart a little bit when I was planning on doing an online magazine. So I started playing around with their API and how they work. So I've done that a little bit, but I need to figure out again how these things play together. A couple notes: I am running my local user group tonight, but with all obviously the COVID-19 stuff, we can't meet in person anymore, and this will be our first month working in an online virtual meetup. So if you're interested in developer user groups, it is no longer Memphis-based, even though it's part of our Memphis Technology User Group's meetup account. It's obviously virtual, so everyone is welcome. We're going to be talking about Gatsby, and in fact, let me go over to share screen real fast. My co-organizer is doing the talking, Josh Bryant, and he made a Collierville Eats app using Gatsby to track the various restaurants in his locality that are open for various things, for carry out, for curbside. Obviously, I'm pretty sure in Collierville, I know where I am in another section of Memphis, all the dining rooms are closed. I don't know about Collierville, it's a different city, but for the most part, I think everywhere is closed for that. But just kind of showing off what those are, if they're local, if they're a chain, if they're national, regional. And he built that in Gatsby. It took him about 2 hours, he said. So he's going to walk us through how he set that up in Gatsby. So if you are curious about the Jamstack, he's also going to talk about Netlify a little bit and how he pieced that together and got launched very, very quickly so that people in Collierville could find out what is happening in their area. Yeah, James, definitely. It is cold for no reason. I just moved one of my cats to be an outdoor cat, which means that I've had to bring him in the past 2 nights into a bathroom, which has been fun. But yeah, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about TakeShape. And if you're not familiar, it's a software as a service company. They have a CMS. They have a GraphQL API for their CMS, so you can ingest it into all sorts of different static site generators or different data processing areas. I've used it, like I said, with Eleventy. I've got a test project that I at some point need to switch completely over. It's one of my Jamstack resource websites, and it's much easier to manage in the TakeShape CMS than the way I had it set up before. But that was just using the CMS. This is going to be using the static site generator, and so we're going to be working through some documentation because I'm not, like I said, overly familiar with it. So we're going to figure that out, and then once we get a static site set up, once we get it working locally, then we'll move into Snipcart and see how we can work with Snipcart in that. So we'll have that up as well, just in case. They are an e-commerce platform. The nice thing is it's all kind of front-end based, and so you pass them data when a user clicks on stuff, and then the checkout process happens kind of on their end in a lot of ways. So it's a really handy thing. It's a lot easier and quicker to set up than like a Shopify, especially in like the Jamstack. Jamstack's not their main selling point, but obviously in this world as we stand now, it works very, very well. So we're going to do that today. We're going to work through all that. But let me know if you have any questions along the way. Like I said, this is research for a blog post. So any stumbling blocks I have, you may have, so let me know. So first I'm going to create a new project. You can see I already have a project up here. It's the My Client Wants website, so myclientwants.com, which is a collection of articles on like using the Jamstack in client work. Right now, it is not using the CMS at this point because I need to go in and do data entry for that because it is just some really poorly structured JSON right now, and I need to go in and make it. I think I want to do like markdown type files for that, but it is what it is right now. So we need to make a new project. I'm going to start with their e-commerce setup already, I think. I might go back and for the blog post, start with the blank project, but I kind of want to see how they structure everything so that I know kind of best practices. And we'll call this Jamstore. And we'll create projects and see what we get out of this kind of startup. Chill tunes are a little low. Let's turn them up a bit. All right, so let's see. We've got some content types already. We've got some entries already. We can retrieve our content. Morning, Mumpastic. How's it going? Thanks for joining the stream this morning. Retrieving the content is via the API Explorer. We may need that, but we'll see how their static site stuff is set up. Need to add an API key if we're going to access it outside of TakeShape. Theoretically, we're not going to have to do that, but we shall see. Add a static site is one thing that we are going to want to do, and then publish it. Let's see, don't need any collaboration. I like this kind of dashboard screen showing you how close you are to everything. Let's see what we have in our different data types here. We have a home page. Let's see, it's got an image. It's got a featured product that's being pulled in. That's nice. And then featured collections. Interesting. There is a multiple type, which is a product. So there are multiple products in here. Nice. Let's see what this one looks like in terms of the data. All right, we've got a category on it. We have the image for it, markdown, which is not very much, but that's fine. The colors, which looks like it means you can have multiple, I guess, what would Shopify call this? They would call it types? I don't remember. It's been like 2 years since I had to deal with Shopify, and I'm not sad about that. Sizes, those are just attributes, the price, sale price if you want it, and then you can mark if it's sold out. That all makes sense to me. We have taxonomies for category, all right, and for collection. I can get behind that setup. All right. So let's see. Let's go back to the dashboard. How do I get back to the dashboard? I guess I don't have to get back to the dashboard, right? So we can create a static site in the static sites area. Configure static sites to deploy your project, sure. Call this Jamstore. Provider, I like Netlify, we'll use Netlify, but it's nice they have multiple things in there. Base URL will be Jamstore. I don't know what that needs to look like, but we'll see. We'll need to link this up in the project settings, okay. Publish triggers, environment variables. See what happens when we save it. Again, never having used their static site offering, I've only ever connected via GraphQL API. All right, see what happens when we click over here. Project title Jamstore, don't need an avatar for it right now. It is in the America Chicago time zone, that's nice. Let's link up Netlify. That should be easy if Netlify does their job properly here. Yep, authorize. Cool, it's working. We have locales, which means we could make this localized, which is nice. We're not going to do that for this demo, but that's handy to have there. So Netlify is there. Site settings. Let's go back to static sites and see what we get. Oh, I didn't save. I probably didn't wait long enough, and the stream's probably eating my bandwidth alive. Base URL, Jamstore, destination. We don't have a destination quite yet. So wait, create new Netlify site. Let's do that. New site, we'll call it Jamstore. Don't need a password. Create. Must be unique. All right. Jamstore. Maybe caps will work. All right. Jamstore demo. All right. Configuring that on Netlify. Thank you. All right. Theoretically, when this all gets kind of set up, I should have a way of getting the code. So we'll see. So James is asking, and thanks for hanging out while you're in and out, but you can create new fields. Yeah, you can create new fields for each content type. We can even create new content types. They have a whole list of different field types, and maybe we'll get into that if we need. I think we might need some extra stuff maybe for Snipcart, so we'll definitely get into that. See what happens when I save. All right, cool. Last published never, that's fine. All right, now let's go figure out how we can get this local. Let's pull it up in Netlify and see how that's getting connected in there. All right, log in. Jamstack demo. Okay, set up to manually deploy because there's that deploy button in inside of TakeShape. So it's deployed. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, as far as I know, with Sanity, you have to add change fields in code. I think the idea of Sanity is customization. But so yeah, this is all like it's very strongly GUI based, James. It's like you might be able to do it programmatically. I haven't looked into that. Like maybe that works. But I know what I've done in the past. I've set it up in the GUI, and that actually to me makes for a cleaner editing experience. Now, granted, I haven't used Sanity yet, but working in Netlify CMS, I definitely prefer going into the GUI for it and making those changes and then ingesting that in a different way. Let's see. Okay, so it starts as this because we haven't published it. So let's go ahead and publish it and see what we get. All right, let's see. We definitely will have to come in and we'll have to say publish trigger like on push to master or something like that. Let's go ahead and publish this and see what it spits out. All right, so theoretically, this will trigger deploy. It is. It deployed in 3 seconds. And there it is. So we have an e-commerce shop, mint green, lovely stuff. We have all those pages. Cool, cool. We got those options. We can add to cart. The add to cart doesn't do anything yet because obviously we don't have a cart provider of any sort. So we'll figure that out. But first we need some code. So let's take a look and see what we can do. So let's take a look here. Let's see. So the quick start looks like it wants you to sign up, log in, create a new project called Shape Books, and then it asks you to clone that. Which I suppose I can go take a look at GitHub and look see if they have the same for the e-commerce. TakeShape. Users, maybe, no. Code. Let's see if we can find their stuff. Footer, maybe? Instagram, Twitter, product hunt. Okay. I suppose I can look at this URL, right? github.com/takeshape. All right. There it is. All right. So, well, I mean, it's a group or a company, right? So it makes sense they couldn't find a user. I probably need to look somewhere else. TakeShape samples, shape form, shop. No. Shape portfolio, Gatsby, CLI. I might look at the CLI. Oh, that's a forked version of the Netlify CLI. TakeShape demo. It's a companion repo for the Shape Books project. Okay. Maybe it's in the demos or samples. Sample project templates for TakeShape. Okay, here they are. Collection of samples. Here are all the Git clones. All right, so Shape Shop. All right, let's go ahead and get terminal up. So cd documents dev Git clone. Let's say it's TakeShape shop and cd TakeShape shop. All right, code here. Oh, why are you pulling up there? Come on down here where I can show you to people. All right, so that is grabbing everything. Oh, I see why it wanted me to go all the way in there. I see. All right, let's see. We don't want all this. It's fine. Don't want that. That's fine. Go to the README for now. Let's move Shape Shop up into the root. Yeah, let's find replace. We don't need that anymore. I don't want any of you. Go away. All right. Let's see. Come on. Let's get rid of. All right. Git commit. Actually, want to add first. Add everything. Git commit. Initial shop commit. Cool. All right. So we have static. So those are our static files. We've got templates, data, which are our GraphQL pulls. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Let's see, feeds, XML, cool, layout. We have one default layout. And then that goes into pages. Hey, thanks for the follow, Sigma Blade. Welcome to the stream this morning. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. Pages, products, these are all templates. We have a category template. You can see it's extending the default. Okay, I can get behind all of that. Let's see, npm install, get everything down. I like that I've completely gone off like the documentation, like just forging my own path, and I probably shouldn't be, but we'll see. Best way to learn is to get your hands dirty, right? I do really enjoy Nunjucks. I'm glad that they chose that for their templating engine. So Sigma, it's multiple things that we're talking about today. TakeShape is a little bit more than just a CMS. So it is a CMS, but they also have a static site generator that's kind of attached to it that is an easier way, potentially, of using their CMS, although their CMS can be hooked into other static site generators. So I typically, when I've used it in the past, I've used it with Eleventy, and all you have to do is make a GraphQL query up to their API, and you get whatever you want out of it. And it works really well with a JavaScript data file in Eleventy. I really enjoyed that experience. But I'm working on a blog post for using their static site generator and the e-commerce platform Snipcart together. And so I gotta figure out the right way of doing things in their kind of ecosystem here. But it is very much, it can just be a regular headless CMS. That works out perfectly fine too. All right, all that is good to go. So theoretically, we can run, they have a TakeShape CLI in here. Let's go back to the demo, the quick start. All right, so npm install, and then you're going to initialize your TakeShape stuff. So we will run npx tsg init, and then my email. It's fine. Password. I think. Oh, look at that. Okay, this is going to Jamstore. Cool. I don't know if y'all can see that. I think you can. It's a pretty decent little CLI experience. Select the site. It is Jamstore. Do not commit these files. Add these files to your... Okay, sure. Make sure that you know to add those. That's for sure. Client schema is saved to that. All right. Let's go into our git ignore. Let's see, it might already have those. Already had one of them. All right, that's fine. All right, so theoretically, that made the connection happen. Schema, query root, get the mutations. The built-in TakeShape asset model, okay. Cool. All right, and so to potentially answer James from before, it looks like potentially in this, no, that's just a get, so maybe not. All right, and that's all GraphQL. All right, so what would be next? Init and then npm start. All right. Let's see what we get out of that. Error, okay. No such document as the sitemap. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Okay, it's not finding our home page. All right, let's take a look at TakeShape CLI. Let's get some documentation around that. See what commands we get out of it. I suppose I could just run a help command. It probably has a help command built into it. Let's see, readme. All right, let's just run new CLI window, new terminal window, npx tsgh. Get init, build, watch, schema, and status. JSON, what's our start doing? Scripts. All right. npm serve. Is that what we ran? Let's see. We ran npm start, which runs watch. Didn't run serve though. Let's npm run serve. See if this gets us better. Okay. Homepage. Let's see. Packs.json. It's going to run browser sync start server. Build at port 5000. Look at the files. Build. Oh, okay, it's running serve at the end of that, so that's fine. We actually do want to run start. That makes sense. I should have scrolled. All right, still doesn't like it. So let's see why. So it doesn't like that, but I wonder if that's causing an issue. So it's looking for data. Templates, documents, dev, TakeShape shop, source. That's that thing that I deleted a while ago without, a care in the world. So that may have been a mistake. I do move things pretty quickly. All right, let's go back. CD. Git clone. TakeShape samples and CD TakeShape samples. Okay. Code here. All right, let's see where I went wrong with my deletion. Shape shop. Oh, that's not what I want. I don't want templates. I wanted the entire source directory. And I wonder if I somehow got the contents of that source directory. James, you're asking, what is the Nightbot? Is that something? No, Nightbot is a specific set of tools for having a bot in Twitch or other platforms, and it has a few different things that it runs. I've got these commands that you can use in chat, as well as some other things. It runs also a connection to pretzel.rocks, which is my music app that allows for, technically by the rules, I can use the royalty-free music as long, without the paid version of pretzel.rocks, as long as I say what song is playing and have a link to it in chat. So that connects that up. That's pretzel.rocks. Oh, that's the pretzel rocks bot, not that. Yes, Nightbot is just it's just my personal current bot, which is up at nightbot. What was that? Nightbot.tv. And you can change custom commands, you can program commands a little bit, all sorts of fun stuff. I've also got them set up on Stream Deck, so if somebody asks me what my YouTube channel is, I can just hit a button, which is super handy. Aside, I like it. All right, let's come back in. Yeah, I made some mistakes in here. Let's see. Status, check out master, cool. Still feel like I made some mistakes in here. All right. Did that work? Boy, all right, open here. Open shop. Take a look at what this is actually supposed to look like. TakeShape shop. All that stuff's supposed to be in source, it looks like. Probably just templates, maybe? Source. And then move templates in here. There we go. All right. Run that again. Looks like it actually did start building better, but we'll run it again anyway. 21 pages generated, that's better than before. And there it is, cool. So we have a local working copy, and that was all on me, not paying attention as I was deleting things. Yeah, I like Nightbot a lot. Now, if you use Streamlabs, I think Stream Elements also has a bot built into it. I think Twitch even has some bot capability now. But this is what I found at the beginning and have been using since then. I also said it has a poll built into it, I think. But yeah, I've got Stream Deck set up to have some quick chats, which I can show. Let's see if I can switch this over real fast. Let's see. So here's my normal default view. I've got all my scene switchers, and then I've got my chats, which is kind of bright, but it's got a whole bunch of different things I can chat with. So cool stuff. Back to screen. All right, so we have all of this. This is being brought in via, there's no static files down here for that. It's all based on these GraphQL pieces. All right, and then layouts, default, let's look at pages. Grab the individual product page. You can see we have this product.graphql. I wonder if that automatically is grabbed. I wonder if that's kind of like 11 data files where it can do all that. Yeah, James, I'm definitely not utilizing my Stream Deck to its full potential. There's some major stuff, and actually I've got a whole setup set up for tonight's web workers to do some stuff around that. I'm having to use original OBS as opposed to Streamlabs OBS because Streamlabs was crashing trying to run Skype NDI. Hopefully that won't crash tonight in regular OBS. We'll see. So let's see. We've got product.image.path. So let's take a look at docs. Configure static site. Okay. Use the CLI init. Use the CLI to deploy your templates. So let's run this and see what happens. Again, just trying these things out. Things could break horribly because I'm not actually fully reading documentation, but that's, you know, part of the adventure. All right, deploy target, jam store, size, files deployed. Nothing should change, but we should at least get a netlify deploy. Yep, new netlify deploy. No deploy message because again, like nothing in there yet. These are all happening manually to a degree. Now let's see if we broke the site. I suppose we should check that, right? Jamstore demo. That appears to still work. So let's go ahead and let's change content and make sure everything's synced up. So let's go into our Jamstore. Let's go into our product listing. And what's our main one? Our featured product is the embroidered women's top. All right. Embroidered women's top. Here it is. All right. So let's change the type, the title, update. New for fall. It's fall somewhere, right? Spring is fall in the southern hemisphere. That makes sense to me. All right. So, all right. By default, that was pretty slick. I like that. When the data changed, I guess it's got a watcher in there that noticed locally and refreshed in browser sync. So that was super cool. And then live, hopefully on refresh. Oh, okay. So I'd need to redeploy, I guess. I suppose that makes sense. Because this is not using any sort of front end pull. So yeah, it's not like all that. So theoretically, I would make sure that I would set up a deploy hook of some sort to work through that, right? That would be a deploy hook that we saw in our site settings. Not here, not this site settings, mind you, but the static site settings. So let's see what that looks like. Publish triggers, content type. Okay, so you can have it be lots of stuff. So let's say any for now. Enable that. And do I need a save on that, or it looks like it automatically saves? So that's nice. Save up here, just in case. All right, that has saved. So theoretically, any change I now make should go live. And let's test that again. Let's make it not new for fall anymore. No, let's make it new for spring, because I know I want a long sleeve shirt for spring. What's that? Save and continue, save and duplicate, save and add another. Save. All right, so let's see what happens here. Handy. Now, I kind of wish there was a deploy message there, but it is deploying. So theoretically, this, new for spring. And is it synced up local? New for spring. So nice. All that is taken care of. So that is all syncing up. That's all good to go. Right, so let's see what else we need to worry about. So in our GraphQL, we're doing get product list, sorting it, ordering by description. We're getting an item, type name, enabled ad, name, category title, the image path, the description, colors name, the size name. Hey, thanks for the follow, Zephan. Welcome to the stream this morning. I hope you're doing well. How is it where you are in this great, big, wonderful world? Got our price, our sales price, and whether or not it's sold out. So theoretically, right, we want to have, again, I'm just playing right now. On the individual product page, do we have a sold out on here? No, but we could introduce if product dot sold out, I think was the variable. And if, and then this would be H4 sold J. Nielsen, hey, how's it going? Might be worth upping the size of the alerts a bit. Took me a second to find it. I couldn't read it. The alerts for... What alerts are you talking about, J. Nielsen? Also, definitely glad to see you're streaming some TakeShape Snipcart goodness. Cheers from Quebec. I hope it is good weather up there for you. It's cold down here in the far south of where you're at, so I can only imagine up there right now. And also, Zeppin, if you want music, be sure to choose from that list. Thank you for feeding Pixel some pixel food. He appreciates it. Also have to click in there so that stuff comes through. Let's see. That follow alert. Oh, you know, I bet I never went in and fixed the alert stuff. The alert stuff is probably still how I had it set up in OBS, and I probably didn't adjust it. I need to actually use Streamlabs built-in stuff. But no, I totally can get that. I'll just make it bigger and see what happens next time it comes through. So Sigma Blade, yeah, this is actually much older school in terms of the way that the templating engine works. I've been doing various types of templates for 12 years now, 13 years. I started using real template engine when I got into a company that was working in Django, a Python framework. They use the Jinja 2 templating engine, and Nunjux is based on that. It's a JavaScript version of that. So there's some different stuff mixed in there, but it's very, very similar to that, and it gets you as close to kind of bare bones HTML as it can be. So it's actually kind of the antithesis of the way that like React works in some ways, because React's got that like the JSX feel, and like that's fine, but like this is like pure HTML where you sprinkle in your tags throughout, which is kind of nice. It's the way that I think best. It's why it's my personal preference for template engine. It just so happens that apparently is TakeShape's preference as well. So let's see if this worked. I'm not even sure that I looked at. Let's look at our product. Yeah, sold out with the right variable. So we'll click into this and we'll make this sold out in TakeShape. And again, like this is me figuring this product out, right? So like I'm not actually doing anything that's probably going to be in my end tutorial, but like figuring out the pieces is very, very important for how I think about things. So let's go into Jamstore. And let's see. I like that it's got all this version stuff in there too. Like that's, again, not having used this fully in production yet, like that's super handy. And versioning, I used to work at an agency where we had our own proprietary CMS, and like versioning was actually one of the #1 requests. But like that functionality in non-static sites, and like dealing with that in a PHP server and all that, like was just, it was gonna like require a complete refactoring of everything. So let's mark this as sold out. Save it. That should trigger a build. It should also work locally. So this is the live version. Here's the local version. Hey, look, sold out. Cool. I can dig that. Now I did just find out this handy little trick that this might be more than what we want here, but in Nunjux, there's an idea of an if expression instead of these template tags. And so what we could actually do is we could say quotation marks H4 sold out. And this for you Sigma, like this will feel very much like a bit of React, right? With like a ternary expression. And we say this if product dot sold out, which needs to be camel case. So theoretically, this replaces all of that, which I just discovered this like last week. It probably has to be safe. I wonder if I can do a safe in here to tell Nunjux that it's fine that this can be HTML. No, maybe I can't do that. I've never actually tried it with HTML baked into that string. Safe should work there. I feel like safe should be fine. Maybe it's got to go tied in. Again, not having done this piece yet. This is probably going to error. Oh no, there we go. I just had it in the wrong order. Which this ordering for the filter feels a little weird. But yeah, you can have it say, you know, if the product is sold out, then display the string, or it could be like the idea of if this were a string built in, it could come with that as well. I like that much better too. React feels less like a templating engine and more like you're just using JavaScript, which is exactly what React wants you to feel like. Like that's one of the upsides to how React does things. The React way is very, very much it's very much like it's just JavaScript feel. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And once you get used to some of the ES 7 2019 stuff that it does, it can be very, very powerful. I like templating engines. I like HTML. I'm one of the few people left in the world, I think, sometimes that likes HTML. But yeah, we get this, and that's some fun syntax, and I kind of like the way that works out. And now we have a sold out version, which is handy. All right, so let's take a look. We have this working. We have all of this. Let's figure out our integration a little bit with Snipcart, I think. I think I've got my head around a little bit the way TakeShape wants things to work. Let's figure out what Snipcart wants to do to integrate. Let's see. Got some messages real fast. All right, so add shopping cart. Let's go to our resources. Documentation, I may need to sign in, but we'll see how that goes. We do want to use version 3X, that is the most modern version, and they did some cool stuff with that in the past year. All right, basics. Like I said, I've used it before, but it's also been 6 months, and literally the world has changed in those 6 months, so figuring things out again feels fresh and new. All right, so the cool thing is you're not actually going into Snipcart to add these things. What you're doing is you're passing Snipcart information from your HTML, which can be fun. So we'll open up the dashboard. We'll have to sign in for that. Let's see, shopping cart to your site with JavaScript snippets, store setup, installation. All right, so let's go ahead and get me logged in. See if I can remember my password. Go through the forgot your password stuff. Actually, you know what? I used my business email on this one. Brian@codecontemporary.com. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or business inquiries to that email address. Let's see, let's go ahead and open on up that email off screen. Thank you very much. Reset your password, sure thing. Follow that link. Yeah, I mean, and part of it is I think, Zephan, I think that it changes so fast. Like that page reload happens so fast. Like some sort of flash would be helpful. Which I think actually, I think there's somebody from Snipcart in. Francois, are you in here? There's some product feedback for you in chat. Let's see. That's my email. That's the new password. Oh, hey Francois, how's it going? Didn't realize that was you. Well, I'm glad that you are the one that had the feedback. I'm glad that you noticed that just as a quick hit there. I wasn't gonna say anything. Good to see you too. I still look back fondly with our That's My Jamstack episode. Let's see. All right. So we need to include, so let's see, first create a Snipcart account, done. To get started, you need to include our assets. So we need a link, and this is going to go in our header, which is going to be in a base template of some sort. So let's take a look at our layouts, default. So here are all those style sheets, link author, so we'll go here, link to the style sheet, and let's see, Wherever you decide you want the shopping cart to be located in your website, you're going to include these. So for now, there's no buy button at all on the home page. So I think we can probably just go to individual for the moment and bring that in here. What's that going to generate? Again, it's been a while since I played with this. Okay, it's not going to generate the button itself, so we need to just maybe add it to the bottom. I wonder if there's an override in our default functionality here. So there's an include for the footer, but what we can do is we can actually, before this main.js, we can have a pre-script block of some sort. So what we can do is we can come in and we can say, all right, block pre-JS, and then we will end block. And that's an override spot that we can come in and we can give to the template that we're going to use, and it'll override that. Yeah, I strive, Francois, to have good music on stream, and it's all royalty free. If you're curious, when you're not watching me stream, just go to pretzel.rocks and you can get this same station. It is the chill station on pretzel.rocks. All right, so we have our pre.js stream. We can grab that. We can go to our individual template, and outside of our block, we can add that block in and grab all of this. Let's see. Hey, Mark, thanks for the follow. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so now we have a public API for Snipcart that we will need to grab. I'm going to move this off screen so you hooligans can't see it, just in case there's other things in there. Let's see. That's probably going to be in my account. Right, just so y'all can see before I go in and see all that sensitive data. I went to account in the top right, and over here there's an API keys area. So again, don't want you hooligans seeing that, so I'll move it off screen. All right, API keys. Okay, cool. I don't even have any secret keys right now, so that would have been perfectly fine. All right, so let us go into our code, and now where we have the data API key, this is a public key. We can place that here. All right, so that should, let's see if we get any errors on that in the console. This is all front-end JavaScript at this point, so anything would come in here. Cross-site resource part, cool. In the future, things could happen there. JavaScript is working, excellent, thank you, main.js. All right, so let's go ahead and come on back over and take a look at the next thing that we need to do. I would highly recommend using the hidden attribute if you count on customizing our templates. Fair. Our script should always be included after the div. Okay, with an idea of Snipcart. Cool. Next up, install Snipcart, adding your products to your site. So we're going to add a button that has a class on it. Boing. And it's going to carry with it some data about our product, most of which, if not all of which, is already included in this. In our data. So we need an item ID. We'll figure that out. We have a price. Item URL, that will be page.url depending on where that's coming from. We'll check that in a second. Description, we have a description. Image, we have some sort of image, and item name. So all that is accurate. So what we want is first we need an item ID. And I wonder if this is a proper time to go in and add a SKU. I feel like a SKU would be helpful here as opposed to just having, like, that's more real world, right? Like I can stringify this, I can URLize this and put dashes instead of spaces and get an ID, but a SKU may be more real world. Let me get back to the screen manager. Let's see. So let's go to our Jamstack, our Jam store, and let's go to our content types. Product. All right. So here is our editor for the content type itself, right? So we've got our name, category, image. So what we want is probably a single line canvas. Let me see what else we also, or probably a single line. I think canvas might be bigger than what we want. So let's bring in single line after name. We'll call this SKU number. Description will be, oh, don't like symbols. That's fine. SKU number. Our description will be the official SKU of the product. Probably want it to be required. Probably don't care about validation pattern. Let's see. I will say an interesting thing, and maybe there's already something for this. An interesting thing would be to have a way of pre-populating this with like a transformation around another field. So I could pre-populate it with like the dashes, or I could come in and I could add a number if I needed to, or something along those lines. And maybe you can do that. Maybe that's in single line canvas. I don't know. Let's take a look. I don't really know the difference. Let's see what that difference is. We'll update the content type. We'll edit our embroidered women's top. SKU numbers here, single line canvas. Huh. I honestly don't know what the difference is there. So let's just say this is going to be 35765, right? So we'll save that. So now we're not going to get that by default, right? Because we're not actually querying for that right now. But we do have that SKU number, which is nice that you can sort by it and probably search by it, which would be nice. Which if I were looking for an e-commerce platform, I'd want that. Thanks for stopping by, Francois. I'm only going to be streaming for another 30 minutes or so. So have a good afternoon and all that. Let's see. So we've added the SKU number. The SKU number is searchable, which is cool that it happens by default. Let's go ahead and pull that in our GraphQL query. So in data, we've got our product GraphQL, and we can come up here and I'll keep it kind of structured the way it's structured in the admin, but we need that variable call. And actually you can come in here and if you want to like build this, the nice thing is there's actually an API explorer. So like this is actually the query that's currently well, actually, it's not currently. This gets you everything. So I can actually look here and I can find what I want out of that. And so I can bring it in here. I could just pull the entire thing, but obviously SKU number is just kind of hanging out. And that's what we want. So if I save that, I should now have access to that in my templates, which means I can pass it into Snipcart. So our data ID is now going to be our SKU. And that will be variable expression of SKU number. Product.SKU number, I think is what it was. Product.SKU number. This is product.price, right? Let's see, where's the price on here? Product.price. This might actually be one of those times to do an if statement. So this could be, we'll have it be product.price if, actually product.sale price if sale price, else product.price. Sale price if product.sale price, else product.price. I think that's how that needs to be structured. Let's go ahead and save that and see what we get. Shape shop. And let's look at our button. So the price is $59.99. And this might be something that I can look up in Snipcart too. Maybe there's actually a sale price data attribute, and I'll look that up in a second. But I do want to see, does this item, so let's get out of the Document Explorer, back to our products, embroidered top. All right, does this have a sale price? It does not. So let's add a sale price of $39.99. And let's make it not sold out anymore. Save that. They should do a few different things here. It shows the sale price with a cross through, and then let's take a look at this button. The price coming through is $39.99. Cool. So that expression did in fact work. All right. So the URL. This is where my knowledge of TakeShape's static site generator is a little bit iffy. Let's come up here and let's see if we get a page. Page.url. It might be product.url for all I know, but let's take a look there. All right. Nothing. Suppose I could actually be looking at the GraphQL. Like, great thing about GraphQL, right, is that it's self-documenting. I could just go take a look at that and figure out what it is. But no, I sit here hammering away at various things. Content type name, SKU number. I mean, the problem is they actually can't get it from GraphQL because that data doesn't exist up in our data. Technically, it is based in how the static site generator creates it. So let's look at our build. Let's see. Let's look at the documentation. Common recipes, GraphQL, miscellaneous. Routing. Okay, so we've got TakeShape routing. Okay, so that's potentially in our YAML file. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking for where the data is for this. Okay, so okay, so the product has a path, maybe. We can try it. Again, like reading half the documentation, right? Product.path. Where was that? Over here. H1. Product path. Just so we know that the build is working. Okay, so we actually aren't getting that. Again, just hammer home on a few different things that it could be. All right, so how does our landing page for the product work? For products, okay, so there's this route filter. Okay. Let's see what this gives us. Individual. There it is. All right, so what do you want? Okay, so the cool thing is, it looks like I can use relative URLs, relative paths. That's super handy, and I appreciate that. Snipcart, I do appreciate that, because having to go back in and add the actual final URL can be a nightmare when you're dealing with local stuff. All right, so that's that. The description is going to be product.description. Product.description. The item name is product.name. And let's see. Item image. What images do we have coming down the pipe? Image.path. So do I need to, I guess I need to do product.image.path. Double check that. Product. Description, sold out, category image.path. Oh, I wonder what that spits out. Wonder why there's a filter for that. I love filters. Always curious to see how people are using that. All right, so we come in here. Let's see what that gives us. All right, add to cart button. Okay, cool. The URL at that point then includes a link up to the, okay, yeah, I like that. That makes a lot of good sense to me. That works, that works. All right, so theoretically, let's see what happens when I add to cart. We go ahead and get our e-commerce cart with this, all that. Let's go in and let's set up, let's see, installation, cart summary, dashboard customization, order validation, custom field shipping, testing. Don't care about testing the API key. Usually with like Stripe or something, you can pass it like a fake credit card number. So that's what I'm looking for right now. See if that's something that I can do. By default, your account is test mode. Okay, and configuration change to within one, sure. I don't think I need my test API key. Continue to payment. We want this to be, okay. This is a test payment form, so we can do 42, 42, 42, 42, 42, 42, 42, 42. And we'll say 1, 2, 3. Place order. Price of product in cart may have changed. Okay, so this is probably because it's not live. Find product prices don't match prices in cart, or products can be found at the crawled endpoint. This might be a time where we want to deploy this change to see how that is working. This entry on order validation might help. All right, so let's go into our dashboard. These are from my testing before. Products. All right, let's go ahead and deploy because all this is fine. npx tsg deploy. Refresh the live site. Come here. No thanks. Add to cart. We get a cart. Go to checkout. Testing. Continue. 42, 42, 42, 42, 42, 42, 42, 12, 22, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, looks like that's going to be a debugging thing I gotta figure out. Try removing and adding them to your cart. Okay. So, product, there's a fetch. Let's fetch from our URL. Cool. Alright, so, what is our current URL? Current URL is this. Oops. Cursor is spoiled again. All right. Here, grab that. Probably because Snipcart has not actually seen any of our products. All right, URL must match the format that. Once you fetch a product manually, okay. Be cool if it could crawl that. Okay, so let's find out. Let's grab this entire thing. This is actually what it wants. All right, that product has been added successfully. You can see we got that ID in here, the name, the price, number of sales. Okay. So let us see what happens there. Continue shopping. Yeah, sure, we can pretend that that's an actual thing. Should probably be in an incognito window for all that. Let's find the cart. What seems to be the issue here? Group shop. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong button. Now. Cart confirmation error, product crawling failed. Alright, let's see what I've got going on. Alright, so we post over. Okay. Item unique ID. Title, URL. Oh. Okay. Because this is technically a different shop. Item. Although that item does exist. Please make sure the product is perfectly fine. Alright, let's take a look. Product should be defined by adding attributes, sure. Copied that. That's all fine. Okay, there are custom options which we would need to get into for this demo, which we can get back into. Field types, text box, checkbox, cool. Categories, dimensions. Again, dimensions important. Product quantity, axes, and if it's a digital good, what the file is for that. All right. What am I missing? Would be the question. First step, which is finding product to add. We had that class on there. Okay. The item ID is the SKU number. The SKU number doesn't change. We have a product. Again, I wonder if, let's see, we want to go over here. I wonder if the fact that I've got those two different things is the issue. Shipping, webhooks, domains, and URLs. Manage other domains. All right, we want to add a new domain. This will be where this site is. Again, assuming this is the issue, we shall see. Close that. Close. We can test all on live right now. Go back into our dashboard, paste that in. Don't need that, don't need that. Okay. So now this is an allowed domain. Oh, I'm able to find a new product. Why are you unable to find products? You need to configure each domain and subdomain that the store will be on. When checking out, we will validate the items on one of these domains. The item URL does not specify any domain name. We will we'll use the default. Okay, so let's go. Let's hard code this for the moment so we can figure that out real fast. Jam, what was it, Jam Store demo? Do we have that saved in still? We do. That should be what we want there. npx tsg deploy. So what this should do is this should tell Snipcart the proper URL for this. And hey, John, how's it going? Snipcart, the dashboard just tried to crawl the root of the website. You can, okay, cool. I like being able to ignore warnings. That makes me happy. I don't want it to be broken in some way. All right. So I still think specifying the full absolute URL probably makes sense there, and correct me if I'm wrong there, John. Let's see, where was I? I was over here. Let's see if our, hold on. Let's see, add to cart button now has the full URL, add to cart, out. Oops. All right. Aha, cool. So yeah, that was the issue there, was that my URL needed to be a proper URL for my store, which, because I only had the one store set up in Snipcart, was the issue there. It's got all that information. Theoretically, it probably sent me an email. Maybe, I don't know if I had that actually set up or not, but so yeah, theoretically, we now have this set up for all of our products just by changing that one template. So let's double check that. Why you know have button? Oh, there it is. Okay, add to cart. Error. Why are you erroring? Attribute item ID. Oh, because we don't have SKUs. So we do need to go in and add SKUs. And again, like if you were doing this out of the box, you'd want to have these added in from the default, or put a default SKU in there, which is actually probably what we're going to do using that if expression. So we want product SKU number if product.SKU number else product.name, and I bet there's a filter. Just filter URL eyes. And again, this is going to be dependent on their implementation of Nunjux. So let's find our filters. Capitalize URLize. We'll see if this exists. All right, so now we can come into our shape shop, which is not actually what we want because I haven't pushed it live. So let's test it locally. Localhost 5000. Inspect that button. So it didn't do what I expected it to do, which I imagine Snipcart would get kind of snippy about. Oh, boo. Because I would expect that to, if it wanted dashes in it in the example, so I assume it wants dashes here. So maybe there's a different strip tags, analog of Jinja. See, I said earlier, I don't know if whoever asked that question before, if you're still watching, that was a while ago. Sigma, if you're still watching out there, you can see here there's even a reference to Jinja set up in here. Let's see, strip text true, escape, no, I don't want any of that. All right, there's join, capitalize. I want kind of a replace. Replace. All right, so I can replace spaces with dashes. We recommend to not have comma or pipes and IDs, but anything else should work. Okay, I mean, spaces still feel weird to me, but what was I actually generating? Let's see. I mean, that works, so I don't really need to replace. URL, I should replace those spaces though. So it might be that they don't have that filter built in, which I can understand because 11D has like 3 nunjux filters built in as opposed to the full set. So I can get that. So yeah, I still probably need to sanitize it in some way if I were actually doing this for a real site, because who knows? Who knows what my client might put in there? But for now, we'll stick with that. And so, let's see, we can get rid of that one for now. Check out. Oops. 12, 22, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's because it's not the right domain, but that's fine. I think that's what we want, so we'll go ahead and deploy that again. Right, I'm going to be wrapping up here in just a minute, but while this deploys and while we take a look at it live, I do want to remind everyone that tonight at 6:15, 6:30 Central, I am running an online meetup. It's the first time we've taken our local meetup and run it as a stream, because obviously we can no longer get together in real life. And so we're going to be running it tonight. We're going to be talking about Gatsby. My co-organizer is going to be showing off his implementation of a Gatsby site that he threw together to track restaurants that were open, if they were open for delivery, for drive-in, for that sort of thing. So we're going to be showcasing that. He's going to explain how he used Gatsby and Netlify to build that out. So this is kind of a test case. This is the usual night we'd be doing it, but I encourage you all to check it out. We're going to be live again 6:15, 6:30 Central Time, and getting our footing, and we might do it more often if it works out decently for this. It's called Web Workers, and it'll be tonight. jamstoredemo.netlify.app. Cool. That all worked. Add to cart. We got one in there. Check out. Test. Continue to payment. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 5. Place order. So now, even without having to go back in and adjust those SKUs in TakeShape, which obviously a person should if they're using SKUs as their IDs, we now have that working, and we have a fallback in case someone doesn't enter things properly, but it's a required field in TakeShape, so it should be perfectly fine. And let's take a look at our dashboard. We should now see more stuff happening. So yeah, we now have the ID of black satin cotton tunic. It shows the price. It shows there's been one sale of it. There's been one sale of this one. We can take a look at our orders. Those orders are here as well. They are paid, credit card. No shipping method, which would be something we need to kind of figure out there, but that's fine. So yeah, not bad for like an hour and a half. We got that up and running. I got my head around the way that TakeShape works for the most part. Static site generators up and running, no problem. So yeah, any questions about what we did today? There will be a blog post. I'm actually writing it for TakeShape. It'll be on the TakeShape blog, takeshape.io, about all of this. And so if you're curious to find out like the final thing, that's going to be there. I'm going to be working on this probably a little bit more this week as well. I also need to be working on some FaunaDB stuff for an article I'm writing for Fauna, and we'll be doing that later on this week as well as offline too. But yeah, look, there's also like our customers and how much I've purchased today, so that's fun. I like Snipcart. I haven't had a chance to really use it in production, but I've really enjoyed the test stuff that I've made in it. So yeah, unless there are other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and rate us over to Code Rush. It looks like he's the only person online that I've got right now. And we'll come back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be our design review day, which is always a fun day. If you have any projects that you're working on that you want to get reviewed by somebody who's been doing design for 12, 13, 14 years now, I've lost track. Come by, post a link in chat. I'll review it. I'll give you actionable feedback for things you can make on the site to improve it. It doesn't have to be a website. It can be an app. It can be whatever else you've got. So be sure to check that out. As Nightbot just said over in the chat, and a few other places too. Be sure to check me out and follow me on Twitter, YouTube, check out my blog, other things. I appreciate y'all coming and stopping by for us. I always enjoy hanging out with everyone. So we're going to raid over to Code Rush, see what he's up to right now, and go from there. So again, I appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.